Welcome back to So You Really Want to Learn Latin, and today I am afraid I'm going to hit you with two new demonstrative pronouns. Okay, apologies in advance. I know you don't all like learning these little fellas. Well, these are the last two. Are they? Well, Well, these are the last two demonstrative pronouns that we're going to have to cope with. Okay, well, these are the big two that we're going to have to nail to finish off this little sequence of demonstrative pronouns. We've already learnt is, er, id. Okay, is, er, id meaning he, she, it, or that. And then we've moved on and we've learnt qui, quai, quod, which we found jolly. That's a relative pronoun, meaning who or which. And you might think, come on, enough is enough. But no, we are going to learn two more things now. We're going to learn hic, haec, hoc, okay, which is a very jolly little chap, which means this. And then we're going to learn ille, illa, illud, which means that. Okay, now you may say, but we've already got a word for that. And you're right, we have. We've got is, er, id. So there are two words for that. There's is and there's ille. Okay, so we'll cope with that when we get there. But we're going to start off today with hic, haec, hoc. You know, one of the all-time greats. And it goes like this. Hic, haec, hoc, honk, hank, hoc, huius, 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 huic, whick, whick, hoke, hark, hoke. And then in the plural, he, hi, hike, hos, has, hike, horum, harum, horum, his, 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 his. Okay, well, what a fantastic little fellow he is. Okay, so he means this, and he also means he, she, or it. Okay, so we're just going to have to cope with the fact that Latin has different ways of saying he, you know, this person I'm looking at, him, or I went to school with her, or, you know, I was killed by it being a, you know, lump of stone or something. So Latin has different words for these pronouns, and the only way I can sort of help to explain this is that they use them quite precisely. So the word hic means this, but it can mean a person. You know, you can say he is the emperor of Rome, and you're kind of indicating someone. This man, this masculine person here, near me, is the one I'm talking about, and who is the emperor of Rome. So they use a word that means this. And we're going to see that that's in contrast to someone over there. Okay, that man over there, or that woman over there, could also be translated as he or she or it or, you know, whatever. But that use of the pronoun ille is in contrast to hic. So hic means this man, woman, or thing near me, here, and ille, illa, illud, which we're about to look at, means that man or woman or thing over there. Okay, yonder, as it used to say in Kennedy's Latin grammar. Okay, so we better quickly just have a little look at ille, illa, illud, and it goes ille, illa, illud, illum, illam, illud, illius, 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 illi, 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 illo, illa, illo. And in the plural, illi, illi, illa, illos, illas, illa, illorum, illarum, illorum, Illisse, 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 illisse. Okay, so you'll see that the pattern is sort of familiar now, I hope. You know, these kind of weird genitive singulars that go ooius or eus, or, you know. We've had qui, qui, quod going cuius. We've had is, haec, id going eius. We've had hic, haec, hoc going huius. And now we've got ille, illa, illud going illius. Okay, so that's just a pattern, which I think we're familiar with. The plurals are, you know, sort of like bonus, but they sometimes do a kind of funny hike type thing, or a quai when you're expecting a qua or an illar. You know, so there's, as always, there is no shortcut. You've just got to learn it. But I think, you know, don't go mad and think, oh God, this is just too much. If you look at them, the patterns are quite sort of familiar with one another, and it doesn't take too long. You just have to go for a long walk and recite it again and again and again and again and again and again and again until you're confident that you know it. Okay, so let's just have a little look at how it works. So, you know, if you wanted to say this soldier, you know, talking about this soldier here, the Latin for soldier is miles, it's masculine, and let's assume we're in the nominative case. So it's masculine and nominative and singular. Hic miles. If you wanted to say this girl, again in the nominative case, puella, feminine, nominative, singular. So we'd go haec puella. And it could be a thing, it could be this war is dragging on. Hoc bellum, neuter, nominative, singular. Okay? But obviously if your noun is in a different case, you just slide into that case. It's in agreement with it. In exactly the same way that adjectives agree with nouns, demonstrative pronouns agree with the noun they are going with, assuming they are going with a noun. So, you know, the name of this war is whatever. So, nomen huius belli, of this war. Genitive, neuter, singular. This is a present for these boys. His pueris, dative, masculine, plural. Okay? The demonstrative pronoun normally goes before the noun it's in agreement with rather than after. But, you know, that's not a kind of firm rule. It's just something you'll see tends to happen. So that's hic, haec, hoc working with these nouns. And if you were trying to say those farmers over there are standing on my field, so the farmers, masculine, plural, nominative, agricolae. But if you wanted to say those farmers, it would be Ille agricolae. Okay, nominative, masculine, plural. Or we were attacking those women. Okay, so they're the object now. They're accusative and feminine and plural, feminas. But if we want those women, it would be illas feminas. Okay? So if you had a full sentence, in the book here, we've got at exercise 8.3, those soldiers were attacking that city. So that would be illi milites, illam urbem oppungnabant. Okay, so in that sentence you had ille, illa, illud being used twice in the sentence, once in agreement with the subject and once in agreement with the object. Yeah, fair enough. Or you might have a combination of hic and ille. So number 4 in this book has those kings have ruled this city for many years. Okay, those kings, Ille reges, have ruled. This city, hunc urbem, so feminine, accusative, singular, hunc agreeing with urbem. For many years, now remember that's an expression of time you may learn by this rhyme, prepositions you never must use. Remember that? So time how long goes in the accusative case. For many years, multos annos. Okay, accusative case for time how long, for many years, and then have ruled rixerunt. Okay, and then so two little things to point out. Now that we've got hic and ille, as well as our friend isse id, we are going to use hic and ille, kind of either or, to mean he or she or it, when used not in agreement with a noun. So for example, if you had a sentence, miles hunc interfecit. Okay, if you just saw that sentence, miles hunc interfecit, go to the verb first, you've got interfecit, that's third person singular, perfect tense of interficio. So the subject is he, she, it, or a noun in the nominative singular. Back to the beginning you go and you've got miles. So the soldier killed, and then you've got hunc. Now, hunc is the accusative masculine singular of hic, haec, hoc, but it's not agreeing with anything. There is no noun that it is agreeing with, so it means he, she, or it. Or in the accusative, that would mean him, her, or it. So, miles hunc interfecit would mean the soldier killed him. Okay, so we'll just have a little look at some sentences just to see if any of this makes sense. You might have a sentence such as ad oppidum cum hoc agricola festinabamus. Okay, so go to the verb first, festinabamus, we were hurrying. Ad oppidum, to the town. Cum hoc agricola, with this farmer. So we were hurrying to the town with this farmer. Or you might have haec femina uxor est huius militis. Okay, so that would mean this woman, haec femina, uxor est, is the wife, huius militis, of this soldier. Okay, so hic being found in different cases, different genders, different numbers. Or you might have a sentence such as haec flumina altiora sunt quam ea. Now that would be quite fun. Haec flumina, these rivers. Okay, don't make the mistake of thinking that that's a nominative feminine singular. Flumina is the nominative or vocative or accusative plural of flumen, which is a neuter third declension noun. So haec flumina, these rivers, altiora sunt, are deeper. Remember our comparative of adjectives? So altus meaning deep or high, altiora, deeper. So these rivers are deeper, quam ea, than those. Or, if we are going to use our new demonstrative pronoun ille, illa, illud, that same sentence would read haec flumina altiora sunt quam illa. Okay, so Latin has got two words for that. You're just going to have to put up with that fact. Is means that, and ille means that over there, that yonder. Okay? And the great thing about them is you can sort of differentiate nouns by saying that one, or that one. You know, it's pretty clever. Now, one of the great things you can do with hic and ille is you can use them to translate the English phrase, the former and the latter. So in English, we would say something like, Julius Caesar was walking with Brutus through the Roman Forum. The former was wearing a pink toga, the latter was wearing a yellow toga. Okay, the former and the latter. And in English, we know what that means. The former is the first noun we mentioned, and the latter is the last noun we mentioned. Okay, so that saves us having to repeat Julius Caesar was wearing and Brutus was wearing. We can just shortcut that by saying the former and the latter. In Latin, you can do exactly the same thing, but you tend to do it with the pronouns hic and ille. And a little bit sort of ran the other way around to what you might expect. Hic means the latter, and ille means the former. And there's a sort of strange logic in that hic means this near me, and ille means that over there. And if you are reading a sentence that went Julius Caesar was walking through the forum with Brutus, and you want to say the former, well, in that sentence we've just read, it's the noun that's furthest away from us. So it's that one over there, ille, and the one nearest would be the one you've just mentioned. And that, therefore, the latter would be hic. Okay? So you might have a sentence like, Marcus agricolam vidit. Ille erat iratus, hic dormiebat. Okay? Ille erat iratus. That man, he, was angry, but because we are in our former latter kind of mode, we're going to be saying the former was angry, hic dormiebat. The latter was sleeping. Okay? So, ille and hic being used for the former and the latter. So you might have a sentence, we've got one here in the book, I see, exercise 8.3, number 3. Marcus and Brutus are soldiers. The former is brave, but the latter is very proud. Okay, so Marcus and Brutus are soldiers. Marcus et Brutus milites sunt. Or you could use one of our new words for and, ac and atque. Marcus ac Brutus milites sunt. Now we want to say the former is brave. So the former was the one we mentioned first and is therefore a long way away from us compared with the latter. So, ille fortis est, hic, very proud, superbissimus. And in a sentence like that, you probably wouldn't repeat the verb est. So you could just say, ille fortis hic superbissimus est, or even ille fortis est hic superbissimus. Okay? Right, so quite a lot to cope with here. We've got 2 new pronouns, hic and ille. Hic, haec, hoc. You have to learn how it goes. Hic, haec, hoc, hunc, hanc, hoc, huius, 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 huic, 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 hoc, hark, hoc. He, hi, haec, hos, has, haec, horum, 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 he's, 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 he's. And that means this, and it means this near me, this one here that I'm talking about or looking at or holding or whatever. And then another word for that. So this one different to is, id, which we've already done. And when I say different, it's sort of an alternative to is, id. It's used in a very similar way. It can mean that if it is in agreement with the noun, and if it's not in agreement with the noun, it can mean he or she or it. Or, as we've just seen, it can mean the former as opposed to the latter. This one goes ille, illa, illud, illum, illam, illud, illius, 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 illi, 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 illo, illa, illo, illi, illi, illa, illus, illas, illa, illorum, 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 illis, 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 illis. That, by the way, is exactly like the plural of bonus, so really not a problem to learn. The only difficulty is remembering that it's easy, because, you know, they're not all. And ille, illa, illud can be used sort of differently to is, id. They both mean that, but there is this sort of idea that is means that, whereas ille means that over there. In Kennedy's Latin Grammar, that wonderful book, it is that yonder. Okay? Over there. Wonderful word. Okay? So I thought we'd just finish this lesson with a nice little wind down, do a little passage of Latin, just to kind of calm your nerves. So after this, towel around the head, make sure you've learnt hic, haec, hoc, and ille, illa, illud. Really got them going. You can write them down, you can write them forwards, backwards, inside out, really, really know them. And while you're doing that you haven't forgotten qui, quae, quod, and is, id, because those four pronouns are absolutely critical. They crop up again and again and again and again in every passage of Latin you come across. You're likely to find one of those four pronouns. Okay, but as I say, we'll finish with a little passage of Latin. This one from the book, it's exercise 8.4. If you're following the course diligently, I hope by now you've got hold of the answer book for this. You can get it from our website, gresham-books.co.uk. You can download it as a PDF or you can buy it as a physical book. But either way, let's have a little look at this exercise. Nice, simple little story. Romani tandem illos hostes ab Italia fugere coegerunt. Okay, main verb coegerunt, third person plural, they, or a noun in the nominative plural. Back we come, and we've got Romani. So, Romani tandem, the Romans at last coegerunt, forced illos hostes, those enemy, ab Italia fugere, to flee from Italy. Okay? Rex autem hostium, qui incolas adjuare copiverat, exercitum in navis duxit, domumque iter fecit. Okay, quite a lot going on there. Rex autem, the king, however. Now, as you know, I always really want you to look at the verb first and work this out carefully, but I do have a kind of little concession to this, that if a sentence begins with a word which is indisputably nominative singular, I kind of let you just go for it and start there. The king. We know that there's going to be a verb a little bit further down the track which is third person singular. You know, it would be amazing if there wasn't. The only situation in which there might not be is if it turned out this was a vocative. Oh, king. But, you know, you would expect inverted commas if that was the case. So let's just follow our instinct. The king, however. Hostium, of the enemy. The king of the enemy, however. And now we've got a relative clause beginning with qui, referring back to the antecedent. And you will remember that we translate a relative clause immediately after we've translated the antecedent to which it refers. So here we go. The king of the enemy, however, qui incolas adjuare cupiverat, who had wanted, cupiverat, pluperfect tense, who had wanted adjuare, to help, incolas, the inhabitants. Okay, exercitum in naves duxit. Led the army into the ships. So led his army into the ships. Domumque iter fecit. Now I can't remember if I've mentioned this word que stuck on the end of a word. It means and. You pick it up, you flip it to the front of the word that it was on the end of, and pretend it was et. Okay, so domumque is the equivalent of et domum. So, and domum iter fecit, and he made a journey home. Right? Domum in the accusative case, because we are going towards home, but you will remember my lovely little rule about towns, small islands, domus and rus. Do not use a preposition when you're going to them or from them. Okay, so, and he made a journey home. So there we're referring to Pyrrhus, and he's, although he wanted to help the people of Italy, he's found he can't, so he pushes off. In our Roman history videos, we follow the fortunes of Pyrrhus, and we find that he trotted off to Sicily for a bit before coming back. But, have a look at the history videos and you'll see what happens to Pyrrhus. Meanwhile, back to the Latin. Romani iam omnem terram supera varant, atque ab incolis timebantur. Okay. First main verb, supera varant. Third person plural, subject is they or a noun in the nominative plural. Back to the beginning, and we've got Romani. The Romans, iam, that means now. So the Romans now, supera varant, had overcome omnem terram, all the land. It's accusative, feminine, singular, that's our object. The Romans had now overcome all the land, atque ab incolis timebanta. And, remember last time we had a look at different words for and? We have et, we've got ac, we've got atque, we've got que stuck on the end of a word. So here we go. Atque ab incolis timebanta, and they were feared, timebantur, ab incolis, by the inhabitants. Okay, so the Romans have created fear and pandemonium throughout the whole of Italy. Sed famam maiorem semper cupiebant, et alias terras mox superare cupiebant. Okay, first verb first, cupiebant. They were wanting. They were a noun in the nominative plural. Back we come looking for one, and there isn't. So, said, but, cupiebant, they were wanting, famam maiorem. That's our object. Greater fame. Maiorem, comparative adjective from magnus. That's its accusative feminine singular. But they were wanting greater fame. Semper, always. But they were always wanting greater fame. Et alias terras mox superare cupiebant, and mox soon cupiebant. They were wanting superare, to overcome, alias terras, other lands. Milites Romani fortissimi erant, et pro patria in navibus missi sunt. Milites Romani fortissimi erant. The Roman soldiers were very brave, et pro patria, and pro patria, on behalf of the fatherland, or their fatherland you can say, and on behalf of their fatherland, in navibus missi sunt. They were sent, missi sunt, in navibus, in ships. And they were sent in ships on behalf of their fatherland. Okay, in other words, they were sent off sailing across the Mediterranean to conquer more lands. Okay, simple little passage, quite jolly to finish off what could otherwise have been a bit of a painful episode, learning these two new pronouns. But I hope you find that you can cope with these. They are really, really useful. Hic, and ille. Add them to your armoury of pronouns. You've got your personal pronouns, ego and tu, nos and vos. You've got your relative pronoun, qui, quae, quod. And we now have 3 demonstrative pronouns. Is, id. Hic, haec, hoc. Ille, ella, illud. Okay, you're set up now. You will come across some other things later, but these are the important ones. You know, you've broken the back of this. Okay, so hope this all makes sense. Do subscribe to this channel for Latin lessons every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you back on this channel very soon.